Good morning. This is kind of like a spur of the moment thing. I wasn't sure whether anybody would show up or not. Hope you all having a good Friday morning. I'm just looking to see what Copper's up to. He's been kind of weird. Oh man, I'm gonna wait a couple minutes and see how many more people come in before I start, because I don't want to have to keep repeating myself all the time. So everybody, welcome. I see a bunch of names I recognize and some I don't. Hope y'all doing well. Oh, I'm still trying to wake up. I've had 2 mugs of coffee and I'm still like, I was just telling somebody else, that old saying, early to bed, early to rise makes a man, how's it go? Early to bed, early to rise makes a man wealthy and make health. Oh, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. My granddad had a different version. His version was early to bed, early to rise makes a man sleepy and have red eyes. I think that latter one pertains more to me this morning. But yeah, I'm finally gonna get my guitar today. I'm so excited. I hope FedEx delivers it early. FedEx usually delivers around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon if they deliver it to the right address. I've had them deliver packages to me that were addressed to somebody in a town 12 miles away. So it's like, they better deliver it to the right place. I'll hunt them down, man. Oh. Yeah, the 16-year-old girl. That's basically one of the main things that I'm talking about. Going to talk about. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and Melody, my new Les Paul. It's like kind of like the one that Slash used on the Appetite for Destruction album, except mine's an Epiphone. I ain't gonna buy no Gibson; they're not worth it. Oh, I don't think Trinity walked away. All right, let me go ahead and start. I've kind of hinted at this in my videos, but I've been in contact now for some time with people who are very familiar with what's going on over in the Truckee area. And the main thing that I wanted to get across in this video, and this actually pertains to any parent, but especially parents in Northern California. There's a major, I keep hitting my head on one, major trafficking operation going on in Northern California and now in Southern California as well, LA area, in San Diego. It's a lot bigger than most people realize, and the cartel is right in the middle of it. Now, here's the thing. They just got through busting about right around 500 people in these trafficking operations statewide. There were over 80 agencies involved in this sting operation. Yeah, I hate to say this. I really do. I hate to say this, but I'm kind of wondering if Trinity is retaliation, because her dad, if you don't know this already, most of you probably do know this if you've looked into it, but her dad is a Nevada County deputy, or stepdad. is a Nevada County deputy. It also makes me wonder how many more kids of law enforcement might be affected. I think that this was a crime of opportunity. I think they caught her alone. They were probably already watching. They caught her alone. Boom, she's gone. I hate to think that, but that's the first thing that popped into my head, especially as soon as I found out that her stepdad was a deputy. And if Nevada County was one of the ones involved in the sting operation. Of course, we also know that Nevada County is working with the cartel distributing drugs. So who knows? But I just kind of get the feeling that Trendy was taken and may be being trafficked. It's scary, people. There's a lot of stuff that I have come to find out from people who are on the inside. There's a lot of government involvement in this as well, both the drugs and the trafficking. There's a lot of dirty people out there. And it's scary. It really is, because if you've got law enforcement, government agencies involved who are supposed to be protecting us and are involved in illegal operations with the cartel, look, that's the last thing that we need. Cartel's already got control of Mexico, period. Government doesn't. Cartel, they control everything that goes across the border, which is the one thing that I find very interesting about Jagger going to Mexico to pick up a vehicle. I'm sorry, but if you know anything about Mexico, you know you don't just drive down there, pick up a vehicle, and bring it back. There is, anytime you're dealing with vehicles between the U.S. and Mexico, you're dealing with all kinds of red tape. I know people who have purchased a vehicle in Mexico, wanted to bring it back across the border and couldn't, so they ended up having to sell it to someone down in Mexico because they were not able to bring it back across the border. I mean, it's not, simple like driving to the dealership and driving home with a new car. You just don't drive down there, pick up a car, and then drive it back. I'm just saying. So the fact that Jagger did that, at least according to what we've read on the Instagram accounts and all that, his messaging back and forth between him and Lindsay, I find that highly suspicious, because that just doesn't happen. Lorna, that could very well be. That could very well be. Yeah, they've actually have rescued a lot of girls. The one in Fresno, there was one in Fresno. I don't remember how many arrests there were, but I know the bust in Fresno, they rescued 10. I don't know how many total, but there's been quite a few. But I do remember reading that there was 10 who were rescued in Fresno. So this stuff's going on all over California. It started in Northern California, actually. That's where the hub of the activity actually still is. And now they've spread out. And if you watch that video that I posted the other day about the cartel, it was mostly about the Los Angeles area. So they spread down there. They're buying up properties. What they're doing is they're going in, they're saying, hey, if you were to sell your house, how much would you ask for it? And they say 150,000 or whatever it is, or 250,000, whatever. They'll offer them double, because the cartel has unlimited financial resources. They have unlimited resources. So they just go up there, say, how much would you sell your property for? Oh, 200,000. Oh, we'll give you 500. Okay. And they're buying all this up, and they're starting all these marijuana grows. And some people have actually accidentally, in fact, if you watch that video, it talks about a couple of instances where one guy actually got killed. And then there was two women who were just out riding their quads in the desert, happened to come across this grow operation. It was like, oh, we better get the hell out of here. It took off up the road, and then they got stopped by a guy in a pickup. It was a cartel guy who threatened them, showed them a picture of the guy that was killed, took out his phone, showed him the picture of the guy that was killed, and said, if you ever come back in this area again, this is what's going to happen to you. So well, we're not going to bring Army Special Forces because you've got government involved. Ooh, Melody. F3? That's a good size. That's a good size tornado. Whew. Wow. CDC dogs. Yeah, I tell you, man, there's a lot of bad people out there. There really is. And here's the thing, if you're dealing with the cartel, they have no conscience. They don't. Somebody said, well, if that wasn't Kylie in that car, who was it? It could be anybody. I mean, the cartel would have, if they're involved in it, in trafficking Kylie, if that's what happened, which I'm leaning more in that direction because I just don't see the evidence leading that being her in that vehicle. They didn't do any identification process according to normal procedures, and there's got to be a reason they didn't, because it wasn't her. I mean, I'm just analyzing things, and that's the analysis that I come up with. If that was legitimately her, you've done fingerprints, DNA, and dental records. Of course, with the decomposition, you're not going to be able to do fingerprints, but you can still do DNA, still, do dental records. And they try to claim, well, she didn't have a dentist. Baloney. We all know that's crap. So there's a guy that has been deeply involved in government things. In fact, he was involved with some things that he says that he wish he could go back and do it over because he feels bad about it. And so he came to me because of the fact that I had worked for federal government before, and he's been watching me for a while. He said, I feel you know what you're doing, you know what you're talking about, and that you're trustworthy. And so he's been giving me a lot of information about the Truckee area. And he told me it was one of the most evil and corrupt areas in the nation. That's what he told me. He says that they're using community grants, government grants. I'm trying to think what else he said. He listed about 4 or 5 things that's going on there. And what they were doing, they were using those to launder cartel money that they're receiving. So there's a lot of payoffs. And the sad thing is that the cartel is starting to get a foothold in California, just like they've already had for some time in Mexico. And it's a scary thought. So one of the things I want to say, and I don't know if there's anybody from California in here or from the Truckee area or whatever, but anybody that may watch this that's from that area, don't let your daughters go out alone anywhere. I know that there'll be some of them that be like, Mom, you're just too overprotective. That's a good thing. Be overprotective. And be careful where they go, even if they're in a group, because there's been whole groups that have been trafficked. And by the way, here's something too. If you look at that video that I posted earlier in community, and I apologize, I meant to also post the link in the comments, which I will go and do. I meant to already do that, so you can just click on it and go to the video. But one of the things you find in there, the video deals with girls in Houston, and they're trafficked right there. They don't even have to take them across the border. They take them and they traffic them right there in Houston. You got the same thing going on in LA. You've got girls who have been kidnapped, trafficked, and they're having them work the streets in LA, right where they're from. Now, it's a little bit different situation in Truckee, where it's a lot smaller area. And so that's not going to work there. They've got to take them elsewhere. But they could have taken them to LA. They could take them to San Diego. They don't necessarily have to take them across the border. So they could be any of those places. And if Kylie was trafficked, she could be in LA. She could be in, San Diego. She could be in Mexico. She could be in Phoenix. Who knows? It's just, it makes it really, really tough. If she is alive, it makes it really tough to try to find where she is, because there's just so many places and they're spreading out more and more. I know I've been told that they've got a foothold in Phoenix. I've been told that they've got a foothold in other major towns in Arizona. So it's spreading, from California to the other, surrounding states, Nevada, Arizona, even though Arizona is not the surrounding state, it's still the next state over. And Phoenix is a pretty major area. And, of course, it borders Mexico. Texas borders Mexico. You've got a lot going on in Texas, like this one video that I posted this morning. Like I said, it takes place in Houston. There's just so much of this going on, and people don't realize. I mean, it's dangerous for your daughters to be out there. And I know kids don't like I said, don't like parents to be overprotective, but I tell you, the way things are right now, you've got to be overprotective, whether they like it or not, for their own safety. Because how does everybody think? Oh, it'll never happen to me. Oh, yeah, that'll happen to them, but it won't happen to me until it happens. So, this is a message for you people over in California and, areas that are close to there. Guard your kids. Because I'll say this, especially if you've got daughters who are really good looking, because they can demand a high price for them, especially if they're sweet and innocent looking. That's prime. That's exactly what they're looking for. That's why I feel Kylie was a perfect candidate. And it makes me wonder, because she went to Mexico with Mags and her mom a week before the party. Now, she wasn't left down there, obviously, because she came back and was seen by Nick. But it just makes me wonder, was Mags' mom showing someone the goods by taking her down there? That may not be the case. It's just a thought. But it also could be the case. Because at this particular point, nothing surprises me. Who's involved? It makes me wonder, maybe and I'm just throwing this out there. I don't have any evidence to back this up at all, other than Sammy seems to be in the middle of everything. It really makes me wonder that she's some type of recruiter. I don't know. It's hard to say, but she obviously seems to think she's untouchable. Yeah, we'll see about that. But what I've been told is basically all the powers that be in the Truckee area are all involved in this. That includes Sammy's parents. That includes the Hambrecks and a couple of other families that are very wealthy. Hambrecht's wife, Robert Hambrecht's wife, Alyssa, runs the big marijuana growing operation that was featured in Forbes magazine. But you got to understand this. We're talking marijuana grow. We're talking competition with the cartels. And I don't have any evidence at all to back this up. This is just a theory. But personally, I do not see an operation like that where you're producing a product competing with the cartels and not have the cartels involved somehow, especially as powerful as they are. Now, look, these families may have money, and that may hold water with the, surrounding governmental officials, with law enforcement and such, but it didn't mean a thing to the cartel. Doesn't mean a thing. People with money don't have any influence on them at all. They already got all the money constantly. And that's another thing too. See, here's what has happened, like in the last, especially 5 to 7 years. The reason trafficking has gotten so big is that the cartels have found they can make a lot more money with trafficking than they do with drugs. Now, they're still bringing plenty of drugs across the border, but drugs are a one-time thing. They bring a bunch of drugs, people take them. Of course, you've got repeat customers and all that. I understand that. But you got to keep producing drugs. You got to keep, all the labor involved in all the the process. You got to keep producing drugs. Trafficking is a product that you can use over and over and over and over and over. I guess it's what you would call residual income. Drugs are one-time use. You bring somebody, you traffic them, many times use. And so they have found that trafficking brings them a lot more money than drugs. And they're not gonna give up the drug trade. I guarantee you that. Because they're still making plenty of money off that. But they're making many times more the money off of trafficking than they are off of drugs. So I am really afraid that Trinity, you're looking at the circumstances. As quickly as she disappeared, I really feel someone had to be watching her. And as soon as they caught her alone, boom, they snatched her up and was gone. I hope I'm wrong, but my gut tells me I'm not. And that's what scares me, because my gut's usually right. Also, like I said, her dad was a deputy. maybe retaliation for all the trafficking busts that have been going on. They've busted over 500 people. Like I said, for those of you who weren't here at the beginning, they've busted about almost 500 people in trafficking rings around the state. They rescued a bunch of girls. And like I said, I don't remember how many total. I just remember that, like I said, I remember there was 10 at the bust in Fresno. So you got over 80 agencies involved in the sting operation, busting up these trafficking rings. But we all know that that does not sit well with the cartel, and they're not going to sit idly by and just let it go. They're going to retaliate. I remember there was, I don't remember, I was living in Texas at the time this happened. I was over in the Dallas area. But they did something in El Paso. I don't remember if they arrested somebody and convicted him or whatever. And in retaliation, some cartel people showed up and started shooting up the courthouse. Now, I don't remember if anybody was hurt or killed in that. It seems to me I don't remember anybody being killed. But they shot a bunch of holes in the courthouse in retaliation. So if if these are all cartel people that were busted up who were trafficking, because I tend to believe it was part of the cartel, because if they've got that big a stronghold in California, they're going to eliminate the competition. So unless these trafficking people were part of the cartel, they'd be eliminated, because that's the way it is in Mexico, and that's the way it's starting to be in California. So give me a second here. I'm going to try to catch up with the chat, because I can find my mouse. There it is. Okay. How do we stop the demand? You're not gonna stop the demand, because you've always got perverts. Because and they are perverts. I mean, any person that would have sex with a 14, 15-year-old, because they start taking them away at 14, 15 years old. Any dude that would have sex with somebody that age is a pedophile. Hands down. Pervert. Give me a second here. I'm going to read through some of these. Okay, this one, 8 per day go missing every day without a trace. Never to be found, just in California. Yeah. And you have all these cases, like, I don't know if you've ever watched David Paulides' Missing 411. That's a really good channel if you haven't checked that out, Missing 411. And he's written a series of books on this. And the book is dedicated to looking at missing persons. I mean, people who just disappeared without a trace. And a lot of them are in areas like Truckee, where you got trees, woods, because the majority of them disappeared from the woods. So let me look at some more comments here. Yeah, and again, if you look at Trinity's pictures, she's a pretty good looking girl. She would definitely, but I still think it's retaliation. I really think it's retaliation. Give me a second. I'm still looking through the comments here, because I found some some good ones here. There have been a lot of videos of women around Orange County, of women being followed in Walmarts in the area. Yeah, I've actually seen a few of those. Yeah, some of some Yo, main girl, did I get the tag? I don't know anything about tags. People have said, "Yeah, I tagged you." It's like, I don't even know what that is. So I guess I'm supposed to get some kind of notification or something like that, but I've never gotten one. When people said, "I tagged you," and I'm like, I never see anything. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just not looking the right place. Yeah, the cartel, and another thing too is that the cartels are stealing water for their marijuana grows, and I mean it's just a scary situation. It makes me glad I don't have a daughter. Of course, I never had kids. My ex-wife, she was unable to have children, so I've never had to change a crappy diaper and never will. But yeah, Melody Dawn, that's exactly what I was talking about. David Politis. Yep. The missing, like I say, people, if you haven't checked out that channel, Missing 411, it's extremely interesting. His books are too. His books are available on Amazon. I haven't bought them just because they're kind of spendy. I don't, Plus, there's enough information on that YouTube channel, and I'd rather watch a video than read about it, because it's just more interesting to me. Keeps my interest more. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know, and that's the sad thing is I don't even know as far as Kylie goes. I don't even know. I don't if she is still alive, which I think she is. Somebody asked me in a comment earlier today, "Do you think she's still alive?" Yeah. For one reason, she's not going to make any money for him being dead. But they may kill them years later. After I've heard of instances where they've killed someone years later after they're no longer making them a whole lot of money, and they don't want them to talk. But while they're in their prime, they're not going to kill them. If they kill them, they're not making any more money for them. Simple as that. So, I mean, it's kind of a bad alternative. I'll be the first to admit that, being trafficked is not a good alternative. But the thing is, if she's still alive, there is always the hope that she can be rescued. If she's dead, there is no hope. And personally, I think there's a reason that they didn't do proper identification on that autopsy. They didn't do anything according to normal procedure. Nothing. I mean, of course, nothing. Nothing they did on the whole case was according to normal procedure. So why should that surprise us? But just the way they misplaced the tattoo that she had, the way of course the weight of the lungs. I mean, the whole thing was just, in fact, there's a couple of, doctors who went over it on YouTube, and both of them said the same thing. I don't even think they did an autopsy. I don't think they did either. Why do it? Just write up some, crap. Just write something up, turn it in. Because it's obvious there's so much stuff screwed up in that autopsy report. And the way they identified her was the deputy, who even knows that the deputy knew the family. He might have, but he might not have. But yet that's how they identified her. He went in there and said, "Yep, that's her." That's it. If they did do other things, they didn't list it in any report. They didn't list any DNA testing. They didn't list any dental record, checking of dental records. And I think the reason that they did that was because it wasn't her. I mean, I just don't see any other explanation, Okay. I'll be right back, guys. Give me a couple minutes. All right, I'm back. Now, I haven't really seen anything about the northern border if you're talking about Canada. I'm looking at Mary's. Says, I don't think the body that was decomposed of Nick Saar. I think the body got botched when they flipped the car over. Yeah, and I think that's why I think that they flipped the car over on purpose. And I've said that the whole time. That's why from the very beginning, as soon as I saw that first video and I saw the way that they pulled that car out of the water, I said from the very beginning, they're going to rule this an accident. Because I could tell they weren't even trying. They weren't even trying to investigate it. They didn't wrap the windows to preserve evidence, and then after it fell out, they didn't send divers back in to get evidence. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I've never seen anything like that. You always try to preserve the evidence. So when they didn't even try, that told me they're not taking this seriously. They're just going to rule it an accident. And I knew that from the very beginning. And I kept saying it and kept saying it and kept saying it. People kept arguing with me. And I'm like, no, they're going to rule it an accident. I can tell just from the pattern of behavior and the way they did things. I could tell. I knew they were going to rule it an accident, so I wasn't surprised at all. No, I didn't hear about SF being in Mexico, but that sure wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah, that's another thing too, Mary. They pushed AWP away before they did it. Yeah, because you look at all the other videos. Now, there's been a couple of times where AWP dealt with some law enforcement personnel that were just absolute jerks, right? It was mostly in these smaller areas like that. But the fact that, yeah, but all but a couple of instances, I guess my point is, all but a couple of instances, they still let AWP observe what they did and even ask for their input sometimes. Whereas at Prosser, they made AWP go away. Why? I mean, think about it. They'd already seen the car. Nick had seen the body. They'd already seen it. So why make them go clear the other side so they couldn't see what they were doing when they pulled the car out of the water? And if you watch that video where they do pull it out, there's some hinky stuff going on there. There's some real hinky stuff going on there. I've had a few people point out things that they saw too. I mean, the whole thing is hinky. Their whole handling of the case is hinky. You know, so, but yeah, they did let SF stay. Yeah, yeah, they make AWP go away, but SF's right there. You know, then how much stuff does SF get his nose involved in? And he always seems to have all this inside information, although a lot of it's wrong. Like him coming out making the statement that Nick was shown a picture of Jagger and identified it as being him. That's an outright lie. Also, Jared's statement is an outright lie where he said, well, I can say that. In fact, I watched the video this morning where somebody played a clip of that, where Jared comes out and say, well, I can honestly say that the male was identified 100%. And that's total BS. Nick himself said, he goes, I don't know, because he says, I wasn't concentrating on him. I was watching Kylie because of the way that she was acting. He just noticed the guy's hat and that he had hair sticking out from under it and had acne or whatever, freckles or acne, whatever. But he said, I can't say that it was Jagger. I can't say it wasn't Jagger. I don't know which one it was. He says, they all look alike to me. He says, but I know 100% sure that it was Kylie. But I guess my point is SF made, and I saw the clip where he says this, that Nick was shown a picture of Jagger and he identified it as being him. And that's total crap. That's a total lie. Also, Jared's statement that the male was 100% identified. No, that's a lie too. So I mean, of course, I don't take everything Jared says with a grain of salt anymore. Oh, nah, I'm not going to get into that because yeah, and Zanime could be in real trouble after hacking into using her government job access to hack into Squirrels on Fire, their live stream. She got caught with her pants down. Ooh. Let me reword that. That's a scary thought. Yeah, she got caught red-handed. That's a better. Yeah, she did, and she got caught. Oh, I would laugh my ass off if she got canned over that. I would laugh. Oh man, that would be funny. I'd be overjoyed. Oh, I'd be overjoyed. Yeah, how you like me now? Yeah, that'd be cool. Because the thing is, she's yeah, it was good. It was good, Manx. It's still there though. It's still the video's still available. Start watching if you find it. Start watching it at the 6-hour mark. Yeah, it was like an 11-hour live stream. It's like, I don't understand how people do that. Yeah, she was so insanely smug initially, and then she realized she effed herself. That's a standing O for that. Oh man, it is. Hang on just a second. I sent somebody I didn't send them the link, but I sent them the title. Let me find it really quick. Let's see here. Hold on, I can find it. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, the title of the video. God, I keep hitting my hand against this thing, but I got to get it close enough where you can hear me. So, like a woodpecker. It's called "Sleuthing Things: Accidentally on Purpose." PT4, part 4, but it's capital P, capital T4, and then like I said, start at the 6-hour mark. Sleuthing Things: Accidentally on Purpose, PT4, part 4. And if you start at the 6, it's right around the 6-hour and 30-minute, I think. Okay, somebody's already saying the link doesn't work. People, when you go to the community post and I post a link in there, all you have to do is just copy and paste it into your browser. That's all you got to do. But I try to make it easy for everybody. So let me go to my I'm going to try to do that multitask here. Who says guys can't multitask? Come on, man. All right, let's see here. Okay, where is it? Where's my community post? Oh, duh! I got to go to posts. I'm on videos. God, wake up, Kevin. Here we go. I wish you didn't have to do so many steps just to get to it. It's like a pain in the butt. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and, if it ever loads. Okay, here we go. And I meant to do this when I first posted it. Oh crap! Of course, it's an image, so I can't copy and paste it. I'll have to do it later because I'm gonna have to go back into my history and get the link again because I forgot this is an image, so I can't copy and paste the link from the image. So I'll just have to do it. I'll have to do it later when I can go back into my history and get the actual link for the video. Link for the video. But But it's a good video. It's one, like I said, about the girls that have been trafficked in Houston. Right in Houston. They didn't take them anywhere. They didn't take them anywhere else. They just kidnapped them and to keep them under wraps. And it's a sad situation. A lot of these are very, very young girls, 14, 15, 16. Oh, okay. Melvy's got the link. Good. Hey, thank you. Okay. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna get off here because that's all I really wanted to do. Is I mostly wanted to put out something just to make parents aware, because this is a scary situation. It really is. I mean, I am deathly afraid for Trinity right now. Because if it's a retaliatory thing, they may not have trafficked her. They may just kill her. As retaliation. I really, really, really hope that isn't true. But it's a possibility. Well, I can tell you one thing right now. If I was law enforcement that was involved in those stings, and I have young kids, especially teenagers, and especially I don't know why it did that. Just shut off. If I have teenage girls, it's really time to be overprotective. It really is, because these guys don't play. These cartel people don't play. They have no conscience. Somebody gets in their way, they got no problem shooting them. Doesn't bother them a bit. They don't blink an eye. It's the way they are. They have no conscience. All they care about is this right here. Money, 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 money. Money. That's all they care about. Is el dinero. All right, so I'm just looking at the clock on my computer. I got my computer hooked up to my big screen TV, so I just so I'm just looking to see what time it is, because there I go doing it again. See, this thing has a mute thing on top of it. When I hit it, it mutes it and turns the light off. So I accidentally hit it with my hat and boom. And it's not heat sensitive either, obviously. Otherwise, my hat wouldn't be able to turn it on. So I'd rather be poor than soulless. Yeah. Absolutely. But, the thing is, if you're raised from the time you're a child, because you see some of these cartel kids are 13, 14 years old. In fact, they're talking about, I saw a video the other day, one of the most dangerous ones is 14. So you're raised with that mentality. You're raised without any moral guidance. You're raised where you don't develop any kind of conscience. You got a psychopath on your hands. You really do. So anyway, I just wanted to get that out there, and anybody who wants to watch the replay of the live can, but I just wanted to make people aware. People, I want to be coming out with some stuff this next week that's going to make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. It really is. It did me. Well, I don't have any, but if I did have hair, it would make back hair on. Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, it's some scary stuff, people. Really, really, seriously scary stuff. I'm glad I live where I live. I mean, I'm still in the West. I'm right on the Oregon border, but I'm quite a ways from California. But, it's spreading. It's spreading. And it's scary. So anyway, you guys have a good Friday. I just thought I saw something outside my window there. Like, here I am talking about people trying to get us, and I look out and it's like, hey, no, it's just, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a human. So anyway, I'm looking forward to getting my guitar today. I hope they come early. That's all I can say, because I want to be able to play it all day and get used to it. So anyway, you guys have a good rest of your morning and a good rest of your Friday. And we shall talk to you whenever I decide to make another video. All right. Thank you all for coming. Yeah. Oh, Melody, I will, because if I get it early in the afternoon, I'll be making a video this afternoon, making up for that one where you guys couldn't hear me. See, I can't hear you. I was like, yeah, I can't hear me either. Yeah. I will go. Okay. I will go and find it. I think Melody already posted it, but I'll go ahead and find the link again and post it on the community post in the comments. I'll pin it so everybody can just go there and click on it. Yeah, because it's a very good video. It's an extremely good video. Very informative. Scary though too. Very scary. See that copper? They said bye. Yeah, they said bye. He's like, man, I'm sleeping, man. Don't bother me. He's like, man, I just want to lay here. Don't bother. He's already a little bit ticked off at me. So, oh, okay, good. I got to copy that. If it'll let me. Nah, it's not letting me do it. Shoot. Oh, it's a what is it? It's a Les Paul Les Paul Warren Classic. It's a lot like the one that Slash played on the Appetite for Destruction album. It's a little different. It's a Warren version, and the only reason I'm not particularly like the Warren versions, but they had a really good special on it. So it's about $100 less than the actual classic. It's the same guitar, same pickups. Everything's got Grover tuners. I mean, it's very, very nice guitar, but it was like $100 less than the regular one. So I got the figured, and it's gold. I like the gold. I like the gold, like Slash's guitars. The one he did on that album anyway is gold, and it's got what they call the zebra pickups, where you got the two humbuckers with the white and the black on each, in both the neck and the bridge. So, which I love. I don't like the covered pickups. I think it looks crappy. I always took the covers off of them because you get more volume for one thing, I think. And I just I love the zebra pickups. I just always have. I think they look cool, I don't know. And I actually do think they sound better than the ones that are covered. So anyway, it's supposed to be a very good sounding guitar, and the pickups are supposed to be really hot. So you can get some really good, the actual, Les Paul sound out of them. Yeah. Yeah. If you look, like I got it on Zounds website, ZZ Zounds. And if you look up it's the Les Paul Classic Warren, and it's I don't remember what they call it. It's the gold one. They had a black one, a gold one, and I think the cherry, which I think the cherry looks cheap. personally. I don't like it. Now there was another one. They had a cherry version that looked really nice, but I didn't want to spend that much. I didn't want to spend $800. So was Kylie in her car? Were they both scared and trying to get away? You mean when they encountered Nick? I don't quite know what James. I'm not quite following what you're asking. Yeah, Melody, the gold looks really cool. I mean, the picture looks cool, and everybody that if you read the reviews, no, whoever it was that she was with, they weren't both scared. I mean, he might have been scared of getting caught, but and I said the whole time that the reason I thought it was Kylie was because it was obvious she was trying to get away from the guy. And people keep saying, "Well, they were trying to keep Nick from looking in the back." Think how stupid that is. Seriously. If you got a dead body in the back of the car, you can't get your car started. There's the possibility that they might have to tow your car. Who's going to be dumb enough to do that? Seriously. I mean, think it through. People are saying, "Oh, they were trying to." Oh, Lakewood? Oh, I'm very familiar with Lakewood, Kathy. Very familiar with Lakewood. That's where those back, I think when I was still living, I think it was when I was still living in Seattle. Yeah, I was. They had the 4 officers that got shot in the donut shop by that crazy dude. There were 4 officers sitting in there doing paperwork, working on their laptops. This dude walks in, boom, 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 kills all 4 of them in a donut shop there in Lakewood. Oh, I ain't going to. I've been at Tacoma Mall one time. That was enough. I went there one time and it was like, I don't like this. So I'd either go. Most of the time, I went to South Center there in Tukwila. That's the one I went to, or I went to the Super Mall there in Auburn. But most of the time when I went anywhere, it was usually the South Center. And then there's one up in Linwood. I'm trying to think of the name of that one. It's not Northgate, I don't think. Alderwood Mall. Alderwood Mall there in Linwood. Been there a couple times. Oh, wow. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, put your Kevlar on. I visited. The only time I've ever been to Tennessee was it was between my junior and senior year of high school. We were going back to visit relatives in North Carolina. And so I went through Tennessee, and I remember they had all I remember about Tennessee is there was a crap load of construction going on in Nashville. Construction everywhere. But we went to this one restaurant, and it was the best breakfast I've ever had in my life. The food was so good, and there's no way I could tell you what restaurant it was. But all I know is there was construction all around it. But man, they had good food. Oh, I still remember that. And I was like 16, 17 years. I think I just turned 17 because we went there in August, and I had Kevlar. RR. Oh, Kevlar. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? If I'd known they had Kevlar back when I was in grade school, I'd have had Kevlar underwear. I'd be like, yeah, go ahead, kick me in the nuts. And that probably still hurt. Kevlar. Oh, Smokies were beautiful. Smokies are. Oh, I've got a ton of people over in Truckee that I talk with via email on the phone, and awesome people. So I mean, they're you've got basically you've got some bad people that are in charge of things, that are in law enforcement and are corrupt. You've got the rich families that run crap, but most of the people over there are just like anywhere else. And they've been really helpful for me because I've been able to either confirm or deny a lot of things just because people are there and can check on it. It's just like CCTV checked for squirrel, about the cameras when they lied to her and said, "Oh, we don't have cameras on our trucks." Wrong. Proved you guys were lying. She went and took pictures of them. So if you haven't seen CCTV's video on that, it's awesome. It's great. I watched it and just laughed because it's like, yeah, you know what? If you're going to lie about something, at least put your trucks inside where people can't just drive up and take pictures of them. That ain't too bright. You know what I mean? So anyway, with FBI false flag. Oh, I don't trust the FBI as far as I can throw them. I worked with them, and I know that they cover stuff up. I've seen it, and I don't have a whole lot of respect for them. And most of them, be honest with you, most of them are dumber than a fence post. They've gone to Quantico or wherever and had their training. Everything's been out of a book. They've never been on the street. They haven't learned how to be a cop. And to me, there's a big difference. To me, if you're going to be FBI, you should be a cop first for at least 5 years and get the street smarts under control, because it's a hell of a lot different, let me tell you, when you're out there dealing with people all the time, as opposed to coming in on a scene and just doing forensics or whatever and interviewing a few people. So who's in Montana? Because I lived in Billings. Well, actually, I lived in Huntley, which is about 12 miles, like 8 miles or 12 miles. Can't remember for sure, but it's east of Billings. I lived right on Northern Avenue there in Huntley. When you hit the freeway, take a left. Instead of going out Prior Creek Road, you go left, and it goes from Prior Creek Road into Northern Avenue. Oh, Melody, you ain't joking. You ain't joking. I have to be like constantly like fire. Yeah, Missoula. Yeah, I was in Billings, just east of Billings. And well, actually, I was in Laurel first when we first moved there. We're in Laurel, and to be honest with you, I'd have loved to stay there. I loved Laurel. It was so cool because we had some awesome neighbors, got involved in the community, used to go to the, local football games and stuff. And it was cool. I liked it. But then we ended up, we here's the deal. We made an offer on a house in Laurel, and we offered the guy, like, I don't know, he was wanting, I think it was 99,000 for it, but it wasn't insulated underneath. Anyway, we figured out what it was gonna cost to get it up to snuff, and so we figured it was about $4,000 or $5,000. So I think we offered him 94.95. He turned it down. No. So we ended up looking at this house in Huntley, and it was perfect. It was like, quarter of an acre, had outbuildings, had a shed, had a underground sprinkler system, and another pump. And so it's like, it was an awesome house. I loved it. So anyway, we went ahead and made an offer. We made an offer at full price because it was obvious that their real estate agent just wanted to get rid of it, and he priced it way below market value. So we offered him full price for it, and boom. Next thing we know, the real estate agent from Laurel was calling us saying, "Oh, he's ready to accept your offer now." Yep, too late. Should have done it when we offered it, because we've already bought another house. So, oh, I hate snow too. It's snowing. It's sunny today, though. It's very, very nice. It's very, very nice. Anyway, I got to go, folks. Oops, I lost my mouse again. I will talk to you later.